Hi, family. This is your girl, Queen Muhammad of maddpop Records. I'm here filling in for Rich Long. He's still recuperating from his experience. And as I told you on our previous live, he met this wonderful spirit being, Rebecca. She's a part of a nation of Indigenous people trying to help us find our way back into our Indigenous selves. But I don't want to talk for her. I want to allow her to introduce herself. So, Rebecca, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you?
Yes. Greetings, everyone. I am known as Rebecca in the system because that is the name that they gave me, and so I have decided to use it since they continue to use it to refer to me. I do have another appellation or name, and that is Rashia Lynn Harmon L. The L represents the Elohim, who is the Most High, our Creator, the one and only living, true Elohim. And what else is out there to describe about myself? You can actually find in the bio that will actually be attached to this video. Thank you.
All right, all right. Tell us a little bit about your nation and what is the mission of your nation?
Well, that's a good question, and thank you for asking. But the mission of all of the indigenous nations is to actually repatriate many of the indigenous people who have become denationalized. And what I mean by that is that through the colonial operatives, because the United States, North America, which also includes Canada and all of the outlying islands, they were, of course, taken over and colonized, and our people were kind of like tossed about, like taken from one place and then taken to another. And so we were, they were dealing with us as if we were pawns on a chessboard and just kind of like moving us around and relocating us, as well as forcing us to be immigrate to other places. And so basically, the mission of all of the nations, and now I am, particularly a national of a particular nation, but that is not what is significant. So what is significant is that all of the nations are working to repatriate all of the indigenous people, the Aboriginal, Indigenous, Native American. Not the Native American that has been presented in the history books by the colonizer, but the true, original Aboriginal, Indigenous, who actually, looks like us. And when I say that, I'm talking about how the Aboriginal is, of a darker hue, and and a lot of us to this day, we continue to look like our ancestors. Okay, and so with that, primarily we are here to repatriate, to heal, to assist, and to uplift fallen humanity. And we are the fallen humanity. So that's what we are here for. It's time for us to return to who we are, to acknowledge. That doesn't mean to go back and start doing things the way that was done. People think that, oh, now I have to, I don't know, like live, how my ancestors live in terms of, like, for example, maybe like living in tents and all of that. No, that's not what it's about. It is more of a spiritual movement. And that movement has to do with us, returning to our Elohim, to our Yah, okay, the Most High, and acknowledging and accepting who we are as a people without us trying to be someone else or assimilating into someone else's design, okay, because it hasn't worked for us, and it's not working for us, and it's never going to work for us. And the rest of the world is waiting for us to wake up and to step into our rightful place. So I know that's a little long-winded, but primarily we are here to uplift our people.
Okay. What hardships have you experienced on your journey?
Again, another very good question. There have been, definitely, this has been an uphill battle, and I usually refer to that uphill battle as a Sisyphean climb. And I don't know if you know who Sisyphus was, but Sisyphus was this individual who had been condemned, and his punishment was for him to push this boulder up a mountain, and every time he would get to the top, the boulder would go back down. And so, while I have been on this mission, there have been so many situations, events, and circumstances wherein I have actually felt that was happening. Okay, in Philadelphia, it is the law that in order for you to be a landlord, you must have a license. Regardless of whether there are attorneys who want to argue that you do not, the fact remains that if you are a landlord, then you must have a license. And because I lived in a condo, one of the arguments was that she did not, and but then of course they found out that she had to, so because she ended up getting one. So anyway, the matter proceeded, and at the same time, I ended up announcing that I was going to be running for mayor because I was involved in politics, had run for office before, and someone had approached me and had convinced me to do this. And so at the last minute, I announced that this was going to happen, and that is when all hell broke loose. And what I mean by that is it just, all types of things begin to happen, including the poison situation. How it happened, I have no idea. The article that was written about the case, because I ended up being arrested.
Somebody open the door. Get off me!
Come on, step in.
Get off me!
Step in. Get the keys. You got the keys in there?
The keys right there.
All right, well, let's lock it. Let's lock it.
What are we supposed to learn?
Huh? We're going to lose the doors, so.
Oh, wow.
All right, then, well, let's go. Let's get mommy ready, because they're coming.
And I was, I became very ill. So that, all of this is a part of the hardships because, I was very vibrant, full of energy, very bright and witty in terms of being able to advocate. So when I became ill, I became completely dependent on my attorney to actually help me with this case. And instead of him helping me, he went behind my back, cut an agreement with the attorney, and, I came home on one day and found myself locked out. And so I went in. And as a result of me going in, I was arrested. Okay. And why am I telling you this? Because we're talking about the hardships. And as a result of that, there are a series of other events that have occurred. And it took me, because I want to talk about the poison situation. The poison situation is significant because it happened in 2015, and to this very day, I'm actually still recovering. I am much better now, but I am still under the care of a Indigenous doctor who is helping me, and it is getting the residual, because there's residual, from the poison that was still in my system. And so I'm almost 100%, but I'm not 100%. And the poison actually caused a lot of damage. So, back to dealing with the system. Once that happened, I remember, like when I was arrested, I remember being taken outside, and actually one of the officers actually said to me, he whispered in my ear and he asked me, he leaned in and he asked me, and he said, "Are you willing to give up everything that you have for this?" And at the time I didn't understand what he was talking about. And so of course I didn't respond. I just kind of was like, what is he talking about? However, from 2015 to 2021, there have been a series of events that have occurred where, the city of Philadelphia, as well as the Pennsylvania Bar Association, because I'm a licensed attorney, they have come after me, and they have been working to assassinate my character, and to remove any and all ability of me to advocate on behalf of the Indigenous people. Because one of the things that I did on my journey as a part of my mission is that I realized that as an attorney, I could not continue to be a member of the Bar Association, because when you are a member of the Bar Association, your allegiance is to the bar, okay? You're first. It's not to the client. I don't care what they tell you, because if that judge tells you to be quiet, you need to be quiet regardless. And if you do not, you can suffer the consequences as a result. Okay, so if you're supposed to primarily take care of your client, then why is it that there are certain, like if you're advocating on behalf of your client and the judge tells you to shut up, or they don't want to hear that or whatever, and you have to listen to them or else you'll be punished, how is it then that the client comes first? The client does not come first. And so the decision that I had to make was basically to sever myself from the Bar Association and to primarily just deal with the Indigenous side of things, especially since I was a national. I could not ride the fence. It was either you're going to be righteous or you're going to be unrighteous. There's no median. So as an advocate on behalf of Indigenous peoples, I began to help Indigenous peoples. And one of those individuals who I needed to help, or two, was actually my mother and my grandmother. They had, there were some situations that, that had occurred, as with anybody who's not familiar with the law, where they find themselves in situations. And so I came along and I was helping them. I was using my legal education to help my family, to help my grandmother, who of course she's my grandmother, so she's elderly, and she had dementia. So my mother had to step in. She acquired legal guardianship over her, and when she did that in 2016, she found out that my grandmother had somehow allegedly entered into a mortgage contract with Matrix Financial. Actually, it's not Matrix Financial, it was actually Flagstar, and Flagstar hired Matrix Financial to actually go after my grandmother and take her home. Okay, so we have an elderly individual who allegedly enters into a contract and mortgages her home. And so when I reviewed all of the information, the matter, I clearly saw being, very versed in contract law, because that was actually my area of expertise. I reviewed the contract and I saw that there was a discrepancy between the copy I received from the lawyer for Matrix Financial and, the copy I received from Flagstar. And when I looked at them and I looked at the note, the page where you had to have the document notarized, I saw that they were different. One of them, the one that I received from the lawyer, did not have my mother's name on it, and the one I received the one that I received from the lawyer did have my mother's name on it, so someone had written her name into the document, because the one that I received actually from Flagstar did not. I also noticed that my mother's signature had been copy and pasted. So during discovery, I presented questions on behalf of my mother and grandmother. Remember, my grandmother is incapacitated. My mother is her legal guardian. I presented the interrogatories. When I did that, there was a motion that was filed inquiring as to who had helped my mother to prepare the questions. And so, I let them know. And once I let them know, the attorney, Michael Beimstein, there are like several attorneys who had entered their appearance on this matter to basically lynch my grandmother, my mother, and to take their home, okay, to take my grandmother's home. And so when Michael Beimstein found out that I had been placed on suspension for not paying bar dues, okay, because I made the decision that I was not going to affiliate myself with the bar anymore, he filed a motion with the Court of Common Pleas of Philadelphia County. And within his motion, he requested for the court to approve that he not deal with me, have any communication with me, not have to answer any questions, nothing. And so when I appeared for court, because, I responded, and my response to the motion was definitely sufficient in terms of presenting my side regarding my position as trustee, first of all, for my grandmother's estate, and how I was not in any way actually attempting to present myself as their attorney, but actually to present myself as the trustee, and that I was legally the individual who they were supposed to be communicating with anyway. However, they wanted me to come to court, and there's a reason why they wanted me to come to court. And so when I appeared, the judge, who looked like us, she asked me one question, and she said, why are you on suspension or something? And I said, because I have not paid my dues. And she immediately was just like, she said, you understand what's happening. And so she turned to, counsel who had been, practicing for a very long time. And she said to him, counselor, give me your motion. And she granted his motion so that he did not have to deal with me at all. Okay. Of course, I tried to explain my position, but she did not want to hear anything from me. She just immediately dismissed it. And at that point, there was someone who actually walked up from the disciplinary office, okay? And he served me with the complaint, and I inquired as to who the complaint was from. He said it was from several people. When they arrested me, they stole all of my property. The lawyer, the moving company, everything. They went into my condo, and they stole everything. And they did all of this while I was sick, okay? While I was sick, and because at some point I had become incapacitated because the poison had worked its way through my system, and I was fighting for my life. And so,
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yes.
Because this really segues into the next question.
Okay.
What inspires you to keep going?
Um, well, to be honest, the situation where they actually tried to eliminate me, and then when I saw what they were doing to my grandmother and my mother, and I just felt like the reason that I was still here, because the poison should have killed me, okay? But the reason that I was still here was because I needed to help my family, and I'm also here to help, rebuild the nation, the indigenous nation. That's my mission. My mission is to uplift the indigenous woman and the indigenous child. Okay, so that's what I'm here for, and that is what keeps me going.
Hey, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on Keeping People Real TV.
Yes.
What's the best way that people can reach out to you, contact you? Trade resources with you. What's a good way for people to get in contact with you?
I'm going to say at this juncture, it is to send me an email. That is silvermoon, the number 5 at protonmail.com. Okay, so that's silvermoon, and we'll put that. We'll have it attached in the link, right? Mm-hmm. If you need the spelling, so that's silvermoon, the number 5 at protonmail.com.
And just tell the people, if they're contacting you, what they could contact you about. Like what type of resources do you have?
Oh, yes.
Or knowledge or anything that.
Yes, we have I am. Through my poison experience, I actually became an herbalist. It's not something that I do on a regular basis, but I do, I help with my family and close friends, and of course with myself. So I do sell, I'm going to say I'm a consultant, because I'm not in the business of selling herbal, like vitamins and things, but I am a consultant for that. So that is something that I do. However, primarily what I do, because I didn't say this, is that I am responsible for the courts, okay? The courts, and I am the jurisconsul. Instead of an attorney or a lawyer within our nation, we call it the jurisconsul. It's JC, okay? The J is it's silent, or it has the sound of a Y, okay? So it's called the jurisconsul, and I am also responsible for the court. So I sit on the tribunal with the courts as the chief judge. Okay, and I issue orders and decrees, and I also advocate on behalf of the people. What type of resources do we have? I have a separate tribal enterprise through the nation, through the Indigenous nation, that provides. It's titled the Indigenous National Law Center. Okay, so it's for all Indigenous individuals. If you want to repatriate and become a national. I will assist you with that. If you need resources pertaining to, you seeking assistance regarding whatever. It doesn't have to just be Indigenous services. It could be services that you want to acquire within the United States, okay? We will assist you with that. We also provide you with consultations. We can assist you with any type of like legal work that you would need, and or just document. I'm going to say documents. I'm not going to say necessarily legal work, but we can assist you with document preparation. If you need someone to review documents, to provide you with counsel, okay, we can do that. If you have issues, legal issues, cases or whatever. We can also, provide you with the information regarding how it is you can submit basically your complaint, okay, with us, because we have jurisdiction, national jurisdiction. When you're dealing with the United States, you're dealing with states, they only have jurisdiction where they are. Because we are an Aboriginal, Indigenous, tribal nation, we have national jurisdiction, just like the federal government. So when you come to us, our jurisdiction is primarily, if you want to use the term original jurisdiction, we have jurisdiction that actually supersedes any of the states, okay? And that is according to our treaty as well as the Constitution, okay? So, we mentioned like the battles that I've been dealing with going into these courts. The state courts, they know that they are not supposed to interfere in, tribal business, and they are always interfering, and they are always kidnapping our, tribal nationals and trying to, to hold them and keep them in their courts, knowing that they do not have jurisdiction over them. So these are the issues that we can help you and assist you with. Okay, we can educate you on jurisdiction and like what it truly is. It's not about the debate, but you really have to truly understand jurisdiction. And if you find yourself in a situation with the state court, as I do, okay, it's like, I recently had a judge just tell me right in a hearing just this Tuesday, and today is what, Friday? I'm not ceding jurisdiction. And, you get individuals like that. So, what we must do is we must come together as a nation and help each other and support each other so that, so that the abuse of our status can stop. Because they know the law, but they are not applying the law. Thank you.
Yes, if anybody want to learn more about her nation and about her movement and everything that she has done in her life, we have her bio. We're going to put that on the screen. And we'll have her contact information in the description box below. Thank you, Rebecca. We loved your story. We're going to follow up with her. So you'll be seeing her on this channel. This is Keeping People Real. This is your girl, Queen Muhammad. I am filling in for your boy, Rich Long. Yes, he's still recouping. So just keep him in your prayers, and also make sure that you hit those GoFundMe links, PayPal, all that's going to be in the description box below as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep it real.
All praise.